site that you can use in the classroom, and it's called Canva. What you're seeing here is my main page for Canva. First, let's talk about what it is before I tell you anything else. It's essentially graphic design made easy. It allows users to create a plethora of different kinds of visuals. So you can see that I have social media, presentation, a poster, a Facebook cover, a blog graphic, a Tumblr graphic, a Pinterest graphic, an Instagram post. I can choose to do a resume if I want to do a resume. I have an infographic, an album cover, all sorts of desktop wallpaper, all sorts of different kinds of visuals that I can create using Canva. In the second half of this video, I'll actually tell you different applications for the classroom, but first let's figure out what this lets you do in general. So you can upgrade to a paid version if you want to. I use only the free version because I have so many features with the free version. I haven't found that I needed a paid version. You can also pay for certain things, like maybe there are certain graphics you want to pay for and it could be $1. You might have certain backgrounds you want to pay for, but I try to just use all the free features, or I upload graphics that I want to use and not necessarily ones that they have on their site. So there are a lot of different options for you, even with just the free version. So if you want to pay for it yearly, there's a fee of almost $120, and then monthly it's essentially $13 a month. Alright, so what does the free version let you do? Let's talk about that. We have here that, so let's go to a design that I've created for one of my graduate classes. So this is something that I made for a poster, to be able to make a poster. I chose a template on the left, and then I edit it as I so chose to do. And then from here, what I can choose to do in the free version, I can share it, and I can share it as an editable design. So just like in Google Drive, where you can share things that you want somebody to edit, you can do the same thing in Canva, but this is more of a visual than you would in a lot of the different features on Google Drive. Obviously, you do have some things you can use there, but I think that Canva has a lot more options than what some of your things that you'd be sharing on Google Drive in terms of visuals would offer you. So you can tweet it from your teacher Twitter if you want to do that. You can download it as just a JPEG or a high quality image, PDF, just standard PDF, or for printing purposes, so the standard PDF or even the image that you download, you can then put it onto your Canvas account. I know that Canva and Canvas are pretty close, but maybe that just, it's fate. Who knew? Anyway, you can choose to make it public, as simple as toggling that, or not make it public, whatever you want to do. I could choose to upload images if I wanted to add to my poster. What's also nice is that I can choose to share, I can choose to see what people have shared with me. So I went to my teacher account, and I went to this account and I shared one of my designs. I shared one of my posters with my teacher account. So let's take a look at what it looks like when somebody shares something with you. Click on your shared view, and this is showing that I can open up something that somebody shared with me, and then I can edit it. So if you have students and they're making posters, or you have students and they're making photo collages, which is something you can do on Canva, students can actually share it with their partners, and their partners can edit them. And again, all you really need is an email address and creating a password, and they don't ask you for anything more than that. So there really isn't anything, like any personal information that students have to add whenever they're coming up with it, when they're creating an account, which is, I think, a really nice perk. Okay. So now that you can see that there are different things that you can do, obviously all these different layouts, so I chose a layout that was free. There are ones that you can pay for, but I don't think that that's really necessary because you can always tweak things. You can add text boxes, so you can see here, I can change the font color, I can delete things, I can add text, a heading, a subheading, I can upload pictures of my own, so I could upload a picture that I had taken from Google and I can put it into my poster or whatever design that I'm creating. I have different layouts. I have different elements I can add, such as grids or frames or shapes or photos or charts. So all of that is open to my use. So it seems kind of silly for me to upgrade to a paid version when I can do so much with my free version. Alright, so let's talk about different ways that you can use it in the classroom. So since my background is obviously in the English classroom, I'd prefer to talk more about that. So let's do creating a design here. So in English class, one of the things that I thought was actually really neat, especially if you're doing the world of work, so this is great for guidance counselors as well. Students can use this to create resumes on, which is actually a new feature for them. You can use it for projects, so you have some different free templates. I know students are always looking for really cool resumes, and so they have some really cool looking ones here on Canva. So if they want, especially if it's a student who's going into graphic design, that's even better for them. So that's one way you can use it in the English class. You can also use it for projects on characterization or theme, and you could use that in terms of the poster version. You could create a Facebook post for a character. You could also create the cover that would go on the Facebook page of a character, or the Facebook cover for a book if there were a Facebook page for one of the books that they're reading, like Life of Pi. You could also have them do a Tumblr graphic, or maybe even an Instagram post for a particular character, or maybe you want them to make a poster on their vocabulary, or you want them to make a presentation about the theme in the book. So there are a lot of options there. For a music class, there's actually an album cover that students can choose to create. So that might be something interesting for students to do in music classes. In art class, there are obviously a whole lot of options for them here. There are photo collages that students can choose to do from Canva. They can also, a really neat feature here is get design inspiration, and you can see all the different things that people have created and posted. So that's something that might even be interesting in an art class for people to judge what they have there from other users. You can, in art class, there are also different ways of, they give you graphic design tutorials if you look at the main page on Canva. So they have all of these tutorials. They have getting started, they have pairing of different fonts, how to choose the right font. So these are actually really neat tutorials that art class could use to how to use color, how to incorporate images. They can use tutorials on incorporating backgrounds, shapes, and icons. So some really neat things that they can take a look at if you have that. So this might work in really any art class, photography class. For science class, they also have an option of doing an infographic, and so that might be something, especially for like a big unit as a review. Your students could create an infographic for a test, or it could even be something that you as the science teacher create for students and post in your classroom as a review for a test, or just to keep in the classroom on key concepts. Social studies, you could also use the infographic. I mean, there are so many different options for the infographic for social studies because there are lots of different facts, statistics, that sort of thing, and you could use it in AP Psych, all of that would be really great for students. For foreign language, at least if I'm remembering correctly, I'm pretty sure all of the, at least beginner students, have a food unit. And there is I want to leave the page, yes. There is even a menu that you can choose to do, a food and drink menu. So this is something that maybe your students could display in the classroom, or you could do it for a celebration. And even the best one, you can post to Canvas. So you can choose to do a food and drink menu. Anything that's on the template is something that you can edit. So it has all of this text in here, but if you don't want a box here, you can delete that box if you want to. If you don't like the color of it, you can change the color of it, you can change the size. All of that is editable on the templates. So the template isn't like set in stone. So I don't have to keep everything that's on here. So I don't even, my computer is Not a fan of. Yep, so I can even take out this like little lobster in the left corner if I don't want to have a lobster in there, and really I just want the color of the background and this chevron print at the bottom. If you want students to create a poster from there, then the last thing I'll tell you about is blockposters.com, and that's actually a way to turn something that you've created, an image that you've created at home and you can turn it into a poster. So if you don't want to use the poster making machine, or students can't use it, then they can actually print out from their printer enough pages to tape together to create a poster of their graphics. So hopefully you found Canva to be useful and that I gave you some different applications. I used it in terms of putting quotes from a book for our graduate class. So I used important quotes, and then I made posters from these, and then I posted them in the classroom. So that's something that you could choose to do if you wanted to do that. So hopefully you found this useful, and enjoy!